everyone, what's up? My name is Von. Welcome back to my channel. So due to insistent public demand, next, I will be discussing things about working in a private hospital as an overseas nurse or a nurse here in London working in a private sector. So stay tuned as we discuss the 10 most common questions for nurses working in the private hospitals here in the UK.
Hold up.
Alright guys, so while I was scrolling to my old videos about working in the NHS and transferring to private hospitals, I've compiled 10 most common questions usually asked about how is it to be working in a private hospital. Here are the 10 common questions for private nurses here in the UK. So question number 1, how is it difficult to find nursing jobs in private here in London or general in the UK? A friend just referred me a job post from a private hospital in London. I was working in the NHS before, and then he tagged me in a post saying that there is a vacancy for a critical care nurse in London. So I applied for the job. In a general note, you can apply for jobs or search for jobs in a private hospital here in the UK or in London by just searching it in Google and type in nursing jobs in private hospital in London or wherever you want to work. There's a lot of sites that gives or offers vacancy for nurses who wanted to become a practitioner in the private hospital. There are also private companies like HCA Healthcare, Spire, BMI Healthcare, and most of the known private hospitals and clinics are also hiring private nurses, such as the London Clinic or the upcoming opening of Cleveland Clinic. So there's a lot of job opportunities for you if you just log into the net. So it's just easy for you to apply. You just have to log in your curriculum vitae or your CV and submit online, or there are also open days. So there's really a lot. All you have to do is you have to have your updated PIN, you have to have your records, and there's no problem with your current employer. Just log into the net and then you'll find it. So question number 2, how much is the usual salary range per level in the private hospitals? The answer to this question usually varies. That depends on the expertise or the experience, at the same time on the employer offer. So I've listed some of the most common offers given to a private hospital nurse on per level. These can be a little bit lower or a little bit higher from an employer to another. Now, the common entry level for a band 5 or an entry-level nurse in the private hospital usually starts from 32,000 to 35,000 annually, plus 9% enhancement. If you go up to the career ladder and you become a senior staff nurse or a charge nurse, your salary can be within the range of 38,000 to 44,000 pounds annually. As you go along the career path, your salary will also increase. Now let me be clear on this. There are also junior nurses whose range or salary range is within 36 to 38,000 annually. So it really differs. Now if you become a band 7 or a senior charge nurse or a senior sister or a clinical nurse specialist, your salary could range between 46 to 51,000 pounds annually. So the figures that I'm saying is just more so a basic salary, not yet covering the other additional add-ons to the salary. That is as well working in London. So I don't know, there might be changes if you work in a private hospital farther away from London or central London. That could also matter. That could also affect the offer. So these rates are usually generally coming from a London private hospital nurse rate. Alright, third question, How is the OSCE training in private? I have known few of my workmates who started their career in the private hospital. They also passed the OSCE. It really depends on how your manager or how your practice development team would support you. There are also a lot of resources from the internet that you can find. Discuss with them your needs that they can work on it as well. Number 4 question, is it advisable to work in private if you are a beginner? Or maybe he or she is referring to if you are a new overseas worker, is it advisable for you to start in private or can you start in private? I don't see any problem with that. If you start within a nursing home, you will be specialized in caring for the elderly, for the sick and vulnerable elderly. If you started from the NHS, you will have your own specialization as well. If you started with a private hospital, that should be okay as well, because like us in our hospital, even though it's private, but we are also specializing in cardiothoracics. It would be a very good experience as well. So it depends on how you grasp things and experience. So wherever you go, if you are an overseas nurse or if you are a first-time overseas worker and your employer is private or may it be NHS, the principle of nursing in the UK is the same. The only difference is the specialization or the area or the field of expertise. So whether you start from private or NHS, that should be okay, because in anywhere there are a lot of support groups or practice and development group that would support your career growth and career progression. So you should be okay with it. 5th question is, what are the common benefits of working in a private hospital? I will read to you a stipulated benefits and offer from a private hospital posted on their website. So usually the reward and recognitions are contribution to pension scheme. Let's say if you have NHS pension from the NHS, if you go to the private, you can convert it to a private pension, a private medical insurance, an annual salary review. So each year there will be salary, a percentage of salary increase based on your performance and performance indicators. There will be 247.5 hours holiday each year, with the option to buy and sell. They also offer you further education. Say for example, me, I take my ICU course and it's fully paid by the hospital. There's also a lot of courses or internal trainings offered by the private hospital. They usually support you with a relocation fund. How is the workload in the private hospital? I think it's the same, but the difference is the number or the kind of patients you are taking care of. But in the private setting, you also cater for international patients who have private insurances and can afford private medical care, royal family from another country. These patients are paying, so they are also expecting you to deliver a higher quality care standard. We can expect that they can be slightly demanding because they are expecting a return of what they pay for. Number 8 question is it easier to be promoted in the private hospital? I wouldn't say it is easier, but there is a higher chance. Just a smaller institution, it's a smaller hospital, it's a smaller unit. Most likely, and the probability is higher, chances of being promoted is also high because they would know your capabilities, your experience already, and they would know your job ethics. In a general rule, it's almost the same. Number 9 question. Will the private hospitals shoulder the visa for overseas nurses? Yes, they shoulder the visa. They offer you a support for your visa processing. Because upon your application, of course, you as an applicant, before diving in and accepting the offer and signing a contract, you would also ask, I am currently on this kind of visa and I would need to have a sponsorship. Do you sponsor a visa? Even if you are already here in the UK and you wanted to transfer. So discuss that with your future employers. Now, there are also hospitals that if you have like an outstanding balance from the previous hospital, they would help you to settle that account from the previous hospitals. But Nevertheless, the main point here is just discuss first with your employer before diving into contract. And the last but not the least question, is the private hospital not a stable institution for a long-term employment? My answer to this is based on how I feel and how I learn with my colleagues and with my current employer. My current employer has been running for years and more than a decade already. If you are a nurse who is just wondering, or if you are an NHS nurse and wanted to transfer to private but was just being bombarded by these issues that, okay, that's a private hospital, it might close down. Well, let us be realistic here. This is a big company. And every company has its ups and downs. There is no perfect company. But in terms of profiling, the profile of these private hospitals has been dedicated enough to render long-term services in the community. I have loads and I have lots of colleagues who have been working in the private hospital for 10, 20, or 30 years and even more than that. And they were enjoying and they are still enjoying the benefits of working in a private hospital. It's not just like a small shop that tomorrow we will close and then you'll get to lose your job. It's not like that. That is just an exaggeration of thoughts. With that, I will leave that to you and to your research as well, and listen to your heart and know if you really want to transfer to private hospital, because it's not the hospital and it's not the organization, it's you, it's your work ethic, and it's your eagerness to learn, to experience, and to save and earn more, whether you are in the NHS or in the private sector. So I hope, guys, I've helped you with your curiosity, with your concerns and questions with regards to working in a private hospital in the UK or here in London. And at the same time, if you guys are currently working in a private hospital and has been watching this vlog and I've missed anything, or you wanted to add, or you wanted to correct some information, please drop the comments down below, because we will be able to help these nurses who are still making up their minds if they will transfer or not. And of course, for you guys who are thinking and still thinking to transfer, or you still have questions, drop also your comments, questions, and feedbacks down below so that we can maybe help you. Maybe someone can answer you. If not me, maybe some can answer you with all your questions. So I would like to thank all those viewers out there and those who newly subscribed to my channel. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe so that we can maybe connect from time to time and give you some, and I can give you some information and help with regards to living here in the UK. But anyway, if you like this, press the like button, share, comment, and subscribe. Thank you for watching the video, and see you on the next videos and adventure. Bye!